Hello and welcome back everyone to the NPC Dungeon. I have another story prepared this week, and as promised, it's all about Screech, the Kenku detective character that I recently played. So, what happened? Well, the party had lost one Absi the Bard, but picked up a few new members. Next, the Tiefling Paladin, Alexandria the Human Scholar, and Yoko the Kitsune Barbarian, who made a living guarding ships and merchant vessels. By the way, if you want, I will be more than happy to tell the story of those three during the party at a later date. Anyway, after being recruited by a strange figure, the whole party found themselves in a city in the clouds, locked in a tense interview with Chancellor Calates, who had apparently headed this organization. They didn't like his terms, and so they did the only rational thing, which was to kidnap him after learning of his plans to terminate the party. They charmed the Chancellor and hijacked one of his flying vehicles, attempting to fly away from the city as it passed through a newly opening portal forming in the sky. The Chancellor chose that now was the best time to inform the party that Nexus' family was being held on the other side of the portal, and so reluctantly, Screech and friends followed the city through and opened up into another world, far more advanced than the one they were living in. Tall buildings swept across the skyline, and countless other vehicles flew by them in a frenzy of late-night traffic. Obviously, no one in the party trusted the Chancellor enough to let him drive, and luckily Alexandria was intelligent enough to figure it out herself. She piloted through the lanes of traffic until a presence from the machine burrowed its way into her mind and paralyzed her at the controls. The vehicle stopped moving, forcing the cars to start to fly around him with a flurry of honking horns. Screech and Yoko backed the Chancellor into a corner, beginning an interrogation to no avail, as Wu, the party's resident turtle, tried his best with the controls, also to no avail. To make matters worse, a siren began to blare from behind them. They didn't quite know what it meant, but they knew they had to get out of there. Panicked, Wu called to Screech for help with the controls. He pulled himself from the interrogation, leaving the Chancellor to Yoko's mercy, and ran to the controls. Before trying anything with the machines, Screech decided to just look them over, standing motionless and examining them. "What are you doing?" Yoko shouted. "You're wasting our time, do something." But Screech sensed something behind the arcane and mechanical controls of the machine. A presence. Something artificial but thinking. Screech had an idea. He knew his strengths. He wasn't the most tech savvy, but he could read people, talk to people, and lie to anyone. So it was at this point that instead of trying to navigate and control the machine, I looked up at my DM and asked, "Can I argue persuasion?" The table absolutely erupted as Screech began to implore the vehicle to fly away, which it did, just not as quickly as we had hoped. And now there were even more sirens wailing from behind us. The party was in a high-speed police chase, and we needed to get out of there fast. What we needed was a backup plan. Yoko knew how to cast message, so she sent word to the cars behind us saying the Chancellor was escorting us somewhere else when he suffered a bodily attack, and now the ship won't stop. But that evidently didn't work. We knocked the Chancellor out and dangled his unconscious body from the door of the ship for proof, but that only seemed to agitate them. Weird, right? So we once again did the only rational thing and threw him at the ships flying behind us. We could only hope that the flailing body of their leader was distraction enough as we flew low. Yoko casted Thunderwave at the rear of the ship as Wu casted Darkness behind us, and the ship crashed into the ground. But the party was nowhere near that mess. No, that was all distraction, as we handed Wu a rope to hold on to as the rest repelled down onto the ground, and Wu leapt after them, carrying the still paralyzed Alexandria in tow. Wu was a tough old turtle. We ran off into a nearby alley full of neon lights and tightly cramped buildings as Yoko this time cast Darkness to get past yet another crowd, and Wu cast Past Without a Trace. Needless to say, the group was pretty well hidden as they made their escape. And that's it for this one. I got kind of wild there, but thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like. If you really liked it, feel free to subscribe and comment down below if you have any feedback or just want to say hi. I try to respond as often as I can. I also release new DM advice videos every single Friday and new D&D story videos every single Saturday. Come back next week where I'll talk about a ball that my players went to in my current campaign, and be ready to delve back into some older campaigns, other stories from the campaign Screech took part in, more from my current campaign, and possible remakes of old stories that I've told before on this channel. Thanks again so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out 2 of my previous videos that should be appearing on your screen right about now, and until next time, let's learn something.